If you hear any background noise, it is my bird. In today's video,
With these expectations, they keep weighing me down.
hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I'm gonna be doing a story time because I haven't done one in a long time, but pretty much I'm gonna tell y'all the story of how my first ever date went. Spoiler alert, it was a tragedy. And I feel bad for saying it was, but I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a background story just so that you guys aren't lost. And I just want to say I'm sorry if this dude ever watches this video. I am so sorry. It wasn't working out for obvious reasons. I'm not gonna state his name. So this all goes back to my senior year of high school. There's gonna be a lot of red flags in this story, by the way, because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, wow, that was. Anyways, I met this kid on Tinder. Bad idea. My fault for even trying Tinder, by the way. At 18, what was I thinking? We started talking. We were talking for like 2 weeks straight, and it was fine. Like, bless you. You're welcome. Within those 2 weeks, I believe he called me on the phone for the first time on like the 3rd or 4th day of us talking. Mind you, we hadn't met in person at this point, obviously, because, you know, we met online. We talked on the phone and it was fine. Like, it was a nice conversation. It lasted probably like 5 minutes because I think I had to go out or he had to go out. We were on the phone and we were talking, and then there was a point during the phone call where we like said something, we laughed, and there was silence for like 3 seconds. It wasn't awkward silence, it was just, you know, like, oh, like, haha, yeah, that's funny, and then you stay quiet and then you start talking about something else, right? We moved on and we started talking about something else, and then whatever, we said bye, we hung up, and then we kept talking throughout that day. And then at night he said, oh, I don't think we should talk anymore. And I'm like, what? And so I'm like, oh, like, what's wrong? And then he's like, oh, I don't think this is gonna work out. Mind you, this dude was like 18, 17, a child. I was a child, but he was just immature, by the way, besides the point. And I'm like, okay, why do you think that? And then he goes, it was, you know, we were on the phone earlier today, and there was like this moment where the conversation went like silent, and he's like, and I didn't like that, you know, like, I didn't like that you weren't talking to me. He's like, I kind of felt off about that. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't see why you want to stop talking, but I'm like, but if it's what you really want, then that's fine. So that's pretty much what I told him. And then after I told him that, he was upset because he was like, oh wow, like, you're giving up on me so easily already. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not gonna force you to talk to me if you don't want to talk to me. So I was like, what is he going on about? If you say you don't want to talk to me, I shouldn't have to beg you to talk to me. So I was like, that doesn't make sense. So whatever, we kind of like had like our argument that first night that we talked on the phone, but we moved on from it and we were fine. You know, I brushed it aside, he brushed it aside, we never talked about it again. Mind you, there were still red flags. Like, it wasn't just that. I remember every single night I would go to bed and I would just get these paragraphs. Like, he would type so much, and I feel bad because I'm like, it's fine if you're like open and if you get like these thoughts and you want to share them with me, but it was just every night he would send me huge paragraphs of just like random thoughts and like old memories that he had. And it was just like so weird. Like, he would just tell me like the most randomest things, and he would send these things to me at like 4 in the morning. In the morning, obviously I would read the messages because I'm not that mean to the point where I would just brush them aside. I'm like, if you're gonna tell me something, I'm gonna listen. But it was just so weird because it was every night, and I was like, what is he doing? That second week that we were talking, he asked me, can we go out this week? And I was like, sure. I'm like, I wanted to meet him. Let's go to the movies. And I remember we went to go watch one of the Fast and Furious movies. Biggest regret of my life. When he was texting me that whole week throughout before we went like on our first date, he was telling me things like, I'm doing homework, And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, what homework are you doing? He's like, oh, it's not my homework. I'm doing homework for someone else. I'm like, I love that. Like, we love a self-made man. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, hey, if you get money from doing other people's homework, that's fine by me. I don't care. And then the whole week, I feel bad, but the whole week he was saying, I gotta make this money for our date on Saturday. The day of the date, I get there first. We were meeting up at like a mall. He gets there and he sends me a message like, oh, hey, like, I'm here, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm by the front. He's like, oh, me too. So he runs up to me, and then, I'm like going in for a hug, but as he was getting closer, he went, and I'm like, so I wasn't gonna be like, no, like, like, I wasn't just gonna. So I pecked him on the lips, right? And I'm like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, by the way. It's on me. Like I said, I am stupid. After we say hi, we're walking towards like the ticket booths to buy our movie tickets. We approached the lady at the booth and he's like, can I get 2 tickets for the Fast and Furious? Mind you, here's a disclaimer. I don't mind paying for my own things, especially during a first date. I'm not gonna make you pay for me if we're not gonna have anything, So I'm like, I don't mind paying for my own thing. And he knew that I didn't mind paying for my own thing because I had told him. So he asked for 2 tickets, and then the lady goes like, oh, it's gonna be 24 something, 24/7. I don't know. I don't remember. This was years ago. But let's say 2 tickets was like 20, 26 probably, because the movies are expensive. So I'm like, whatever, that's fine. So he opens his wallet and he takes out $11. He looks at me and he's like, I don't have enough money. He's like, can you put the rest? I'm like, what am I gonna do? I can't say no. I could have paid for my ticket. Like I said, I didn't want him to pay for me, but my dude could have at least paid for himself. You know what? Whatever, it's fine. So we pay, and I'm like, there's no going back. Before the trailer started playing, we were kind of just talking, and then I don't remember what happened, but he opened his messages like with me, and I saw that my number wasn't saved. If we're talking already for 2 weeks, I'm like, you might as well have my number saved. And he had already, and whatever, I would have been fine with that if he wouldn't have made it such a big deal for me to have saved his number. Like, this kid pretty much made me show him like how I had him saved, and like he wanted it saved like with like a certain nickname and a certain emoji, and I was like, that's fine. Like, you know what, I'm all for like cute lovey-dovey, but at least have my number saved. He didn't even have me with like my name saved, like nothing. Like, all I saw his phone and all I saw were numbers, and I was like, okay, why are you making it such a big deal that I have your number saved, but you didn't even have mine saved? So I'm like, whatever. So I told him, I'm like, you don't have my number saved? And he's like, oh, no, yeah, I did, but my phone was like restarted. Some shit there. I don't know. He made up some BS story. So whatever, movie starts. I paid my ticket and part of his so that I could watch the movie. My dude wanted to kiss me the whole movie, and I'm like, no, that's it. I'm like, not when the movie's going on. I'm like, this is, no. I'm like, you're not gonna do this. I came to watch a movie. I'm gonna watch my movie. So as we're getting towards the end of the movie, he kind of leans over and he's like, oh, like, what do you want to do after this? And I'm like, we can walk around. He's like, yeah. He's like, we can go eat. Eat? I'm like, unless we go into your house and you're cooking for me. I'm like, we ain't eating anywhere. If you didn't have money to pay for your movie ticket, how dare you come to me and talk about, can we go eat after this? Like, were you expecting me to pay for you again? So I'm like, not on our first date, like, yeah, if we're dating, yeah, sure, we can go out to eat and I can pay for you once a while, you know, like we could take turns, that's fine. But my dude wanted to go eat after he didn't have money to pay for his movie ticket. So I'm like, if there's no money in your wallet, why are you saying let's go out to eat? So he tells me that, and I'm like, I'm not hungry. And to be honest, if you're watching this video, I'm sorry, I was hungry, I was, but I'm like, this is enough. I said bye. He was like, oh, I had a really nice night, and I'm like, yeah. And I just turned around, you know, we said bye, I left. So I pretty much told him the day before my school prom, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't working out. And he was like, why? And I'm like, it's not, it's my feelings for you. Like, I was just telling him, like, I didn't feel it, like, on the date. And he's like, you're lying. He was telling me, he's like, oh, like, you're lying. I know you're feeling it. You know, it seemed like you had fun. Like, what happened? And then around that time, he had, like, gotten his hair cut. He was telling me, he's like, it's my haircut, isn't it? Like, I know it is. He's like, you were fine before I cut my hair. And I'm like, no. I'm like, hair grows back. I'm like, it's not your hair. I'm like, it's just, I wasn't feeling it with you. And he was just not taking it. Like, he was mad. Like, that's what it came down to. Like, he was really upset. Like, I ended up, like, he kept texting me. He's like, can we fix, like, let's fix this. Like, I know, he's like, someone must have told you something. He's like, why are you feeling like this? So he was blowing up my phone, and I felt bad, but I'm like, I can't. I told him straight up, I'm like, I don't want to do this. So at least, you know, I didn't lead him on. Like, I told him, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't see you like that. Like, I'm sorry, we can be friends, but that's it. And he was upset. He was blowing up my phone. I ended up muting him on, you know, on messages. And he started DMing me on Instagram. He's like, why aren't you responding? So I ended up muting him there too. And then it was just on Snapchat as well. Like, he was just, like, following me throughout all my social medias, like, trying to, like, fix something that I never wanted to fix. Like, I would tell him, I'm like, there's no fixing this. Like, I don't want to fix this. I don't feel anything. Like, I was just telling him, and I felt bad because I was being harsh about it, but he was still trying. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just not working. So yeah, we pretty much ended things on a bad note because he was really upset, and he was telling me a bunch of like, I don't remember word for word, but I know he ended up saying some pretty bad things. But you know, a few months after, like 3 or 4 months after that happened, he sent me a message again on Snapchat, and he's like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, why are you talking to me? But I was like, hey, I'm fine, how about you? I'm sorry for how things ended. I understand I acted bad. I hope you know I've grown up from this. And I'm like, that's good for you, you know. I'm like, I'm proud of you for realizing, like, where you went wrong and things that you should have done better or handled better. But I'm still not gonna talk to you. So he pretty much told me, he's like, yeah, I understand. He's like, and I'm sorry again for how I acted, but just know that I've grown up a lot and whatever. So I was just like, okay, that's nice. And that's pretty much where we left everything. So that's pretty much how my first date went. But, you know, he was just really controlling. And I think it took me a while to see that. Like, it took me until after the date happened. Moral of the story is, get off Tinder. So yep, that's all for today's story time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already, and turn on the little bell for notifications whenever I post videos, which is clearly not that often, but yeah. I'll see you guys hopefully then in my next video. Bye.